Welcome back to the very last crowd control of 2023, and in some ways, it's the first episode of crowd control for 2024.
Ooh, nice, well done.
In a way, because we're looking forward to 2024, and we've researched some of the bigger campaigns, some of the campaigns we're excited about. Quite frankly, some of the campaigns we just simply know about.
All of these are campaigns that we are excited to get our hands on in some way or another. Some that we've already kind of demoed, some that we've seen, and some that we've only just heard about. So
some we just heard about today.
Yeah. Yeah. We got one that. Yeah, you'll see.
Just wait. That's the teaser. Wait
teaser.
Till the end.
So I'll start with one that I actually got to demo, and I demoed this at Gen Con. I got to see it again at PAX. This is Galactic Cruise. This game looks and plays phenomenal. This is definitely a heavier game. This is on the Lacerda side of heaviness.
It looks Lacerda-esque.
It is. I mean, down to the fact that they got Ian O'Toole to do the cover and the icon design and art and everything. The game is phenomenal, but you're building these galactic cruise ships and you're sending them out into space and you're kind of going on these tours of different planets, and it's a really neat idea. You're kind of recruiting passengers on these ships. Every passenger has a destination they want to go to. They have amenities that they want on the cruise ship. So you're kind of trying to build a galactic cruise ship that's going to attract the most people, but it's done with worker placement elements, and you're putting workers out and triggering multiple different actions. It's a very cool game, a very cool presentation. And I also know these guys have been pouring their heart into the game. They've been taking it everywhere. They've been getting feedback from designers, developers, fans, players. They've gone to every convention. So I think that this is going to be one that when it launches, we're going to see a very, very solid game right at launch.
And did you get a chance to play this?
I did. I played it at Gen Con and then played it at Gen Con with a prototype and then saw a more artistic version at PAX U.
With a little bit of that Ian O'Toole
love. It looks great. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one. That one's coming early 2024, sometime in the next couple months.
Yeah, this next one, we don't know exactly when it's coming, and we'll caveat this whole video by saying we might give some general ideas, but who knows? Things change.
Crowdfunding is crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding is crowdfunding. But the next one we want to talk about, we also had a sneak preview of back at Gen Con, and this is Horror on the Orient Express. Yeah. This one is coming from Chaosium and Adam Kwapinski.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a pretty exciting game. It's got a lot of miniatures. It's got a lot of dread. You're on a train. The components are insane.
The train itself is insane looking.
The train is insane. Now, with that said, what we played and some of the pictures I'm probably putting up right now are from a prototype. Yeah. So we don't know exactly what it'll look like, but that prototype in and of itself was pretty cool and gave us a good idea of what you're going to be doing. You're moving around this train, sort of investigating people, trying to figure out who's with you, who's against you.
Yeah.
And all the while, things are going crazy. You don't even want to look out the train windows because whatever's going on outside is a slow trip or potentially quick trip, in our case, to complete madness.
Yeah, it's a whole Cthulhu theme, and it very much feels like the game Unfathomable that took place on a boat, taking that kind of and putting it on a train, but fully cooperative. That's why I'm really excited about this. There's not a lot of fully cooperative games. We do have Mansions of Madness, which is more of a story-driven game, but this feels really like a good combination of all those different elements. And then, of course, that train and moving between those train cars, it's just very cool and thematic.
And it also sounds incredibly difficult. In our one experience with it, it was. And we've played a few games with Adam Kwapinski present. And every time he's present, you just look over and he's smiling at your pain. Thank you very much.
And he knows, even at Gen Con, he knows. You can see when we go to do a move, he has that smile like, this is a bad move.
Yeah.
Nemesis Retaliation, same way. He's like, you're probably going to die if you do that. And then he rubs his hands together. So that's one we're excited about. The next one is this is an obvious one. We've already talked, on our last week, we talked about Scholars being one of our favorite Kickstarters of 2023. Well, Inventors of the South Tigris will probably be one of our favorite of 2024. Shem Phillips has not let me down once with these Compass Trilogy games. We've seen the North, we've seen the West, and this is the final one in the South.
Yeah.
And this is Inventors. And so that's a really cool theme already for me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we've gotten a few more little details. He and Sam, the designers on the game, both had a live stream where they talked about a lot of their upcoming games, including this. And this one of the things I thought was interesting is they talked about the not Paladins, but the West Kingdom series having a different table presence for each game. And they've kind of employed that here in this next one. It's a very long, narrow board, and the main board really is inconsequential compared to all these invention boards. There's like boards that are roughly this size that go in these various columns underneath there that represent the different stages of creating the invention. You have these boards without even cards on them yet, and then you get cards placed on those. Then as you place dice on them, they're actually being built. So you're taking inventions through the stages of sort of conception all the way through to actually realizing
Yeah, it's
them.
a really cool theme. And of course, like this being, again, the third one in that South trilogy, we've seen a lot of the same iconography, a lot of the same ideas present. And the fact that this is now, the 9th game in this series of the Compass trilogy altogether, like the fact that he's still able to come up with fresh, new
That feel different.
Games that feel different is a huge achievement. So I'm not only excited about this, I'm also excited about the inevitable East, but we'll talk about that whenever it happens.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see this thing. My guess is based on the other ones they've done, and the whole progression of all of these series, but particularly the South Tigris, these have been heavier games, and I don't know if this is going to be the heaviest of them.
At least as heavy.
But if, like Scholars, I hope that the theme really pulls those mechanics and mechanisms together to make that heaviness feel a little bit more palatable.
All right, well, the next one we want to talk about, I think, is one that we're both very excited about. We actually did a news piece on this because we were so excited. This is Diablo, the tabletop game, and also role-playing game, apparently. I guess it's coming together, it looks like, in one campaign. They're doing this Diablo game. And, I mean, huge Diablo fans here.
Yeah, I mean, this one we have very few details on, of course, because they've just mentioned that it's coming. We did confirm since the last video that we did, we thought that it was supposed to release at the next BlizzCon.
Yeah.
The campaign, I believe, is running during the next BlizzCon. So they're taking a full year to sort of cook this thing and then launch their campaign. What is that, next fall?
Yeah, mid-2024, fall 2024, yeah.
Yeah, so the campaign will happen then, and my guess it will be at least a year from then that it delivers.
I know, so we're going to be like almost 3 years waiting, 2.5 years waiting for this
but
thing.
time flies in the world of Kickstarter.
I know, I'm just very excited about Diablo. I'm hoping that we get some kind of prototype or can do some kind of coverage on the channel, just because I really want to see what they're bringing to this Diablo universe.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Another one in the world of video games is God of War. This one was just announced at CMON Expo Thailand, which I was at.
Yep.
And I can tell you firsthand, they had very little to share.
They haven't since either.
A miniature of Kratos and a miniature of his son, Atreus.
I almost said Atreyu. That's a different thing.
Not a never-ending story. They showed those miniatures. They couldn't share too many details at the time, but they are working closely with Sony Santa Monica on a God of War game that involves miniatures, and it's based on the more recent God of War series.
Which the card game was too, but they said that the card game was a little bit more of an abstract look at God of War, whereas they said this is more of I don't know how to put it exactly, more of an engrossing, full God of War experience, is what they're saying.
Probably so. And this is, from this point forward, it's pure speculation, but I don't know if I want a two-player co-op or if I don't want a two-player co-op, but I kind of would love for it to be a two-player co-op
game. It could be a two-player co-op. It could also be, we've seen co-op games like this, like Solomon Kane, where all the players kind of control the character together.
Maybe.
So we don't even, I'm assuming it's a cooperative experience. I don't know
Maybe. I can't imagine it's solo.
It could be like a one
That would
versus,
be new for them.
It could be a solo game where you're controlling both Kratos and his son. That would be pretty cool. I mean, again, total speculation.
This is speculation. All we know is there's a miniature of Kratos and a miniature of his son. That's all we can tell you, and it's called God of War. Now, this next one that we want to bring to you, we just got this information. Take this with a grain of salt a little bit because they were a little reluctant to share it. But next Earth Day, there's going to be probably a campaign around that time. And it's around that time for a reason, because we're talking about Earth.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure you probably anticipated, there is an expansion coming for Earth. We can kind of quasi-confirm that, and hopefully we'll be seeing that in the first half of 2024 or around Earth Day.
Yeah.
They are early days in getting this put together and testing it out and things like that. But it's no surprise, I think, to many people. This game was such a huge success. Yeah. There's plenty of design space for expansions, and any publisher would be crazy not to have expansions for this.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's going to be thrilling to see this. And you know who's going to be super excited? Emily.
Who might be, hopefully we'll tell her before she watches this video.
Yeah,
again, we don't have...
have to.
We really don't have anything to show.
No.
Even the fact that we're even talking about the fact that an Earth expansion is coming, we had to get permission even to mention it. And they haven't given us anything, even like a name yet. But there is so much more you can do with that game. I mean, not just new cards, but like new things to place on cards and like new ways to interact with the cards. And I know that this is a game that they love internally as well, but we don't have anything.
No, we don't. But it is a flagship title from a publisher, and you got to expect a game like that is going to get continued support. It's just nice to see that continued support is coming.
And we've even less information about the next one,
we
we have almost no information.
But I can give it to you firsthand. And that's because it's our very own Kickstarter for Man vs. Meeple, or MVM as we so lovingly call it. This is going to be coming probably in the March-April timeframe. I can tell you that. Yeah. If you're watching this episode of Crowd Control right now and you're thinking to yourself as you hear me say this, wait a minute, I backed the last one. Didn't go so well the whole time. We did run into some hiccups for a variety of reasons. We're finally getting all that squared away. So the next time, I promised myself, I promised everyone that the next time we run a campaign, which will be coming, like I said, March-April timeframe, we're going to run it, and sort of the big news here is that we're going to try to deliver it almost immediately. So I don't want to even pull the trigger on that campaign until we have everything ready to go, everything lined up in terms of how we're going to deliver it, so that once it's over, we can pull that trigger and make it happen. I want to make sure that happens to really kind of set the tone for how we're going to run campaigns going forward.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, we had a lot of transitions going into our last campaign, a lot of changes around here, and we're kind of settled into like what we want to do with the channel, and we spent kind of 2023 kind of building into that. So yeah, I think it was good to kind of take a break and just kind of refocus on the channel, and then just come back strong in 2024 and give a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for all the campaigns we talked about, and stay tuned for more Crowd Control. We launched that this year, right?
This has been a fun thing to do. I love talking about crowdfunding.
It's a fun show. We hadn't always done it on the channel, but we did it this year. We're going to be doing it hopefully just about every week next year. I don't think crowdfunding is slowing down anytime soon, so we'll be back here again. But you know when we won't be back? Next week or any week in December, because this right here, it's the last you're going to see of us, at least on Crowd Control, for the rest of 2023.
So have a great holiday. Enjoy all the games that you backed this year. Hopefully a lot of them are delivering. A lot of those little Christmas presents
100%.
getting delivered. So we're excited for 2024, and we'll see you back then.
See you then.